Hello and welcome to Sport This Morning. I'm Cecilia Amorgbe.
A very good morning to you from wherever you're watching us. This is Sports This Morning. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Let's start here off this morning with Nigeria Professional Football League. Interesting results from week 29. And that's how we start our day here. Match day 29, Delight. We'll be talking about that for you on the show. And away victory, some other interesting results. We get us talking this morning.
Yeah, also on the program, we'll be talking basketball. And this time around is the D Tigers. They've been drawn in Group A. Are they ready to defend their title? That's a big question because in the group you have DR Congo, Mali, and Cote d'Ivoire making up Group A. Also on the show, of course, tennis. And Roger Federer, how do I describe him? Fast, furious, ageless, anything you can think about. This man is a phenomenon. It's one of the best players ever that ever graced the court of tennis. He's won his 19th Grand Slam title and also won his 8th Wimbledon title without dropping a single set. The second time he's doing it this year after the Australian Open, winning also without dropping a set. And of course, that's where we'll get started this morning. Roger Federer, it's one man everyone has been talking about. You know, when he went on a break for 6 months and we knew he was going to come back, but then we didn't know he was going to be this good after coming back.
No, signs were there. Wasn't really glaring, but the signs were there. You know, we questioned whether or not pulling out of the French Open, you know. But the way it started this year, and, you know, towards the end of last year, we started seeing signs. And he knows that he can't be in all of those ATP tournaments. So he has to prioritize. And that's what he's doing now. And he seems to be getting the best out of himself by prioritizing the events that he wants to compete in.
Okay, and of course, in this particular game, he defeated Marin Cilic, who was actually suffering, you will say, because of the way he was acting at 6-3, 6-1, 6-4. That fall there wasn't a good one for Marin Cilic. I think Roger Federer was just his usual maestro. They just had to take him to the cleaners. At the beginning, you know, when he had two unforced errors, so talking about Roger Federer, we thought Marin Cilic would capitalize on that, but that wasn't to be. But there was a time, okay, this is the point where he was actually, you know, crying and all that. It was so emotional for him because I think later he got treated for a foot injury. Maybe that was the reason. And that's why in the third set, when he came out, he tried to fight. But then Roger Federer wasn't ready to let it up. He just had to go ahead and he won his, what? His Wimbledon title, the first man in history.
We've always known that Roger Federer is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, but I'll tell the people, let's speed it up. There's nothing else to say about this man. He has defied the odds. Someone I respect told me that when you get to the age of 28, 29, in tennis, back in those days, you're called a sped force. But this man at his age, still going on. Maybe we can credit science. The breakthroughs in science ensures that these guys can prolong their careers. But whichever side you want, I mean, whichever side of the coin, he's a great guy. And who knows, he might still have some more Grand Slams in him. We had to wait for 5 years. And if anybody told us in January that in 2017 alone, is going to have 2 Grand Slams, you probably say, no, it's not going to happen. Because we knew how tough it was to even get the 1 Grand Slam he got in 2012. And it was getting to finals, and he kept on. And he has a lot of interesting and amazing stats for this man. But then, like I said, all right, Cecilia, this is some of the things that amazing stats about the man. 19 men's singles titles, that's what he has right now. Got 8 from Wimbledon, 1 from French Open, 4 in Australia, 5 US Open titles. He has reached the final of all 4 Grand Slams 3 times. 321 singles match wins overall. We're talking of the length of his career. 165 matches he has won overall on hard courts. And of course, you see 10 consecutive men's singles finals, 70 men's singles tournament appearances, 29 men's singles finals overall, 42 men's singles semi-final overall, and it begins to go down, quarter-final, it begins to go down, and all that. What an amazing achievement for this man. 23 consecutive men's singles semi-finals, 36 consecutive men's singles quarterfinals. You could almost take it for granted that if Roger Federer comes to a tournament and he's fit, at least is going to get into the quarterfinals.
It's definitely going to get it. And if you take a look at the numbers of guys that have really dominated the Grand Slam so much, then you would know he's one of those guys. But then, if you look at that other stat, when we talked about those who have won the most Grand Slam in a single tournament, of course, the first person that comes to mind is Rafael Nadal, having won 10 at Roland Garros as the French Open. Roger Federer 8 at Wimbledon, then Pete Sampras 7 at Wimbledon. And with what Roger Federer said that, okay, next year he will want to defend that title, and if he gets to defend and win it, it's going to be 9. Pete Sampras' record has just been shattered every time Roger Federer steps on court. But another one is you have the stars, the players who have actually gone ahead to win a Grand Slam without dropping a single set. And in that order, Roger Federer is third in that. If you take a look at the stat, you discover that Bjorn Borg was the one. He had 3 titles he won without dropping a set, and that was in 1976, and that was Wimbledon, 1978, and 1980. It was at Roland Garros. And also Rafael Nadal, that's the big one. Rafael Nadal, for him, 3 Grand Slams he has won without dropping a set. The first was in 2008, all of them at the French Open, 2010 also at the French Open, and 2017 also at the French Open. And then you're having Roger Federer, 2 times he's done it, and he did all of them he did the first one in 2007 at the Australian Open. Of course, 2017 Wimbledon, that's when he did it again, after he did it first in 2007. Ilya Natasha, 1973 at Roland Garros won. Of course, Ken Roswell also 1971 Australian Open. Okay, we'll get to listen to Roger Federer now, how delighted he is, and of course Marin Cilic, how disappointed he's not been able to give up a big fight in the final against Roger Federer.
Yes, it is very special. Wimbledon was always my favorite tournament, will always be my favorite tournament, and my heroes